Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. In this video, God has guided me to speak a little bit more about spiritual work with animal embodiment and how you do that essentially. This will be helpful for everyone who has pets. This is important, and also will be important for anyone that would ever decide to actually do this more than just with their own pets, but to do this in order to help their own lineage. Of course, you must do it right. You cannot just raise some bunch of dogs and imagine that this is already work done. Although this is helpful as well, but there are ways in which you must actually understand that this is a soul, a human soul. It's a soul from your lineage. It's a soul which has a purpose, has a bondage to break. So essentially, you must treat that soul as you would treat a human, and understand why he came to you, why was sent to you, and how you can help and make the most of it, right? You must learn what kind of bondages that soul has, what kind of abilities and what kind of lessons to learn. You must understand and help that dog to best possible break the bondages, as many as possible, in such a way so that dog will, that soul will elevate and will be possible an embodiment in human form. That is the purpose why you do bondage breaking through animal embodiment, in order to create better conditions for that soul to come into human existence. And this, when will this be possible, and where that soul goes, to which human, that is a matter which only God can decide. All you can do is you can work with that animal in order to create these conditions. And you must know that if you do this right and with divine guidance, you yourself receive beneficity, because you helped that soul to elevate and to come in human form in order to fight. So there are countless ways in which you can benefit from that. One of them would be that God will decide that that human who will receive that soul will come and help you. You must also understand that you create a connection between you and that soul. That means that the attacks that are meant for that soul will affect you as well, especially during the time while you take care of him. So you must learn about all of this information about a soul embodied in an animal. You must do, for example, I do on my dogs constantly pranic healing, energy healing. It's not only that you feed an animal, but he's, as I said, I work with dogs, but all animals are the same. Uh, to them, they have as a human body. They have the same issues as us. They are attacked by darkness more than we are, because they are pure and they transmute energy by their own existence and with the pure love which they offer. So you must understand how to help them. And I do this. I do prayers for them, with them. I clean them with pranic healing constantly, so they can withstand the darkness which is being sent to them. I only restrain myself from doing pranic healing on them when God tells me that they need to learn to work with a specific attack which is being sent to them or to my household. But otherwise, I do prayers constantly for them, and so on. And also, when I give them food, I always cook for them, because I said in another video, food which is cooked by you has your own energy, which is healing. It's a totally different thing if you give them some food from the store, you know. So I cook for them specifically when they go through difficult attacks, in order to make sure that they get more healing through my food, through my pranic healing, through my prayers, and so on. But I do the best to my abilities to restrain myself in pampering them too much, to the extent to which I would interfere with the lessons they need to learn. So I try my best to let them learn the lessons which God is guiding me they need to learn, because the purpose is for them to evolve and to break the bondage so they can come in human form. So, and by the time, I mean, the best job I do will be if that soul, when he goes into a human incarnation, knows how to fight, and then has all the proper knowledge and abilities in order to survive in human embodiment, so that soul can carry on their own spiritual fighting, right? So it's important to do this. It's important to do an astral letter for your dog, or for your pets, for your animals in general, in which you claim them. It's not enough that you adopt them, but you must also claim them. And in that astral letter, you should write exactly like you write for yourself in your astral letter to the karmic board meeting, namely talking about the bondage breaking, about the lessons they need to learn, asking for help. You will see that in the divine realm, there are specific type of forces which protect animal embodiment. There is the White Lodge Sirius, which protects animals. There's also Saint Assisi, who is known for this. There, and depending on whatever bondages they have to break, your animals, then there are different other ancestors and forces from the divine realm which protect animal embodiment, and they help them as well. So when you make prayers, always make prayers to those forces as well to come and help you. Because as I said, as you help those animals to do bondage breaking and so on, you must keep in mind that a certain number of attacks will come to you only because they aim to harm that animal, to kill that animal. So you need help in doing this. You cannot do it just by your own. And God has guided me to talk a little bit more about, I mean, you will receive help in helping them. For example, I'll give you an example. In the initial few months after the puppies were born in my courtyard, and when God started to teach me how to work with animal embodiment, my neighbors poisoned one of them. That was the initial attack. They poisoned one of them, and I had to get him through it, because these were basically the two puppies, which and the two souls from my lineage, which they poisoned. That was the bondage on them. So I took care of two dogs, which were poisoned, and I helped them survive. But I got help from the divine realm in doing this. Of course, because it's very important when it's about poisoning. It's a matter of seconds. You need to identify immediately when this was done on them, so you can be successful in saving them. And I did save two of them, because they didn't succeed to poison the dogs in my courtyard because I would save them. This is why they took two puppies from the street and they poisoned them and they threw them in my backyard in order to make accusations at my dogs that they killed them. Now God has asked me to talk a little bit more about this situation with the two puppies which they poisoned, because God has shown me that you didn't explain why. The purpose of doing that were basically karmics who wanted to steal the succession line of my lineage. So for this reason, they poisoned two souls from my lineage. As I explained in the previous video, they created a setup for them. They threw them into a fight which was orchestrated against other souls from the same lineage, and all of them were accused of many things through slander. So I explained two of them died of poisoning. The others were accused of killing them. All of them were accused of being drunk, of being lowlifes, of being some sort of homeless, many slander accusations at them, which You must understand this might seem funny to people, especially since people are so used with slandering other individuals or souls. But these were essentially generational curses which were created on those souls. And they killed two of them, and the rest of them they threw in jail based on this slander and orchestrated setup of some of them killing the other ones, which none of it was true. In reality, they poisoned two of them, which died because of poison, but nobody investigated because the police was working with the karmics. So nobody investigated the case. This is why when I called the police, they refused to investigate. They even refused to take the bodies. And it was lucky that I had my inspiration, and I went and I did necropsy immediately. Because if I would have left the bodies in my courtyard or somewhere else for a longer time, it wouldn't have been possible to make necropsy after some time. Because it was also summer, it was June, it was very hot outside. So it would have been a total degradation of the bodies. And if I would have waited until Monday, and nobody would have been able to do anything about it anymore. So in that case, there was a lot of slander, which might seem silly, but it's not silly. In fact, it's a bondage created on those souls, which will follow those souls in human incarnation, in next incarnation, and so on. And the other ones spent their lives in jail, innocent, because they didn't kill those. Those two died because of poisoning. Like it would have happened to my own dogs, which they were accusing my dogs of killing those two puppies, and they wanted to take my dogs because of this. First of all, it's against the law, because those two puppies were on my property, so my dogs normally defended the property. So it's against the law to accuse my dogs for defending my property. But the point is, if I wouldn't have made if I wouldn't have stand up, fight, and make all the report. This is why the police basically refused to take the dogs, the dead bodies, accused my dogs because the neighbor told him so, and basically for him the case was closed. But then I had to fight a lot, you cannot imagine, because everyone, including the police, kept saying, they're just stray dogs. Why you make such a big fuss over this? But I knew this is not about stray dogs, this is not about dogs, this is about souls, and it's about souls from my lineage which have been accused wrongfully about things which they haven't done, just in order to put them in jail and to take them out of the succession line. And the other ones just to kill them so they won't be in the succession line. Bondage breaking has through animal embodiment is really, really important, because you have to understand at the point when God decides to do animal embodiment with a soul, it means all other doors were closed for that soul. That soul cannot come in human form at that particular time. Somebody needs to help that soul to break those bondages so he can come in human form. So it's really, really important, the work, the spiritual work with animal embodiment. It has tremendous value because God then will be able to create human incarnation for that soul once that bondage was broken. And I went, I cannot explain to you how much fight I had to put up in order to write detailed reports about what happened, because they would refuse to take the reports. They were like treating it like it's nothing. But I knew, because God showed me, that the neighbors who did this actually discussed with the police and told them, don't take her reports. So I knew this, God showed me, and I didn't care. So this is very hard, because they try to downplay it like it's just a stupid, silly thing. We don't waste time with this. Why are you bothering us so much about these stray dogs? They are just stray dogs. It is not the case. It is of tremendous importance, and you shouldn't care too much about being mocked about doing this, because you're doing a great spiritual work, and God will make sure that this will help you later on. And I must tell you that because this was bondage. Nobody from Divine Realm told me exactly what to do. Only after I returned from the necropsy, only then God revealed to me all of this. I called the police myself. I went and made reports myself. Only afterwards God explained to me what was all this about. And then I started fighting even more when I understood the spiritual meaning of it. To me, it was clear that it was an attack on me, on my dogs. And I knew that these dogs are here because I have a spiritual work with them to do. So for this reason I fought, but I didn't get to learn any of this. And it was a chaos. I couldn't understand anything. How come somebody can do such a thing? Which is, and also it was an attack on me, of course. God has shown me, because June is the karmic board meeting. I was closing up karmic cycles, and essentially they wanted to trauma bond me to open other karmic cycles. Because, of course, it was a big shock to me to find 2 dead bodies in my courtyard, and it was difficult for me to cope with that. This is why my neighbors got out of the house when I was picking up the bodies, and he was yelling and accusing me and creating a scandal. So he will actually emphasize the trauma, if possible, which they were seeking to create on me. So this is really important. And the cruelty upon animals, which you have seen happening in the world, is because of this. So you will understand properly. It's because of this, because of the work of darkness against light, because they are souls which are incarnated in pure form, and they bring a lot of light. And if you help them, they stand a chance to break bondages, not only to gain beneficity for raising the vibration, but also actually to break their bondages, which is really important. I find it beautiful. And again, there are also lessons they must learn. Even if you do this, that's still enough. Like I told the story of that puppy which entered into an area which was supposed to be a closed area, but at the time was not closed. I gave that example. God has shown to me you need to work on him. He needs to get self-confidence, because I explained 3 dogs entered that area. 2 of them exit. One of them didn't exit because he figured it's a closed area, but it wasn't closed at the time. He could easily exit, just like the other 2 did. And essentially, he saw 2 dogs exiting, and he saw them, so he could follow them to get out. But basically, it was a mental declic that they needed to do, and it was a matter of self-confidence. This is my neighbors doing scrying at my dogs, sending darkness to them to make them angry, so it will make me angry. So it was just a matter of helping that dog to raise self-confidence and the desire to fight for himself. But he stood there for hours, and God told me, do not go and help him. The gate is open. He can exit if he wants. He saw the other 2 dogs entering and exiting a few times. However, he didn't follow them. He just stayed put and watching the gate for me to go open it. So God said, no, don't, because this is not the purpose why I brought him to you. I brought him to you so you will make him learn the lessons. And this is the lesson he needs to learn. By the way, the one who needed to learn this lesson was exactly the same one who couldn't eat because the other ones were beating him up and bullying him. So God said, let him learn to stand up for himself. Stop doing things for him. I know you love him and you want to spoil him, but this is not why I brought him to you. Okay? So there are many ways in which you can help them learn lessons. And learning about their abilities is very important. And let me tell you something. You can learn things about spiritual fighting yourself while you're doing this. You can learn from them. God can teach you things through them which he cannot convey to you directly. Like, for example, he was teaching me about abilities of 2 different dogs. You guys, I'm gonna have to stop because I have to go see what's going on. I hope this is helpful for everyone so far.